COVID-19, why you do this to me? I really don't like being stuck in quarantine. I have no toilet paper, I don't even have a snack. Hey, coronavirus, I want my life back.
Boy, this kind of snuck up on me today. So it is 7 o'clock. How did it become 7 o'clock, everybody? How you doing? Good to see everybody tonight. This is episode 31. So at least we've had a month of these episodes. We're starting to get a bit more good news. And like I said last night, I just want everybody to be cautiously optimistic with this news. The latest news that came out today regarding Ontario and the spread of cases is that the COVID community spread seems to have peaked, and the latest computer models are actually showing something a little better than was being forecast before. So what the latest models are showing is that the number of cases for the span of this wave of the outbreak is now likely less than 20,000. I mean, 20,000 deaths, that's horrible. However, originally they were saying as many as 300,000 people, and then 80,000 people could have died. So the work that you are doing by distancing, by staying at home, has saved literally tens of thousands of lives. And there's no argument from that at all. So if you're despairing, if you're thinking this is useless, no, you have helped to save some lives. Thank you very much. I hope you are faring well. I hope you're coping well. But by all means, please pay attention to those crisis numbers on the corner of your screen. If you get into crisis, you need to call someone. You need help, and they can help you. Don't try and do something alone. Having said that, I don't want everybody to relax their guard. This doesn't mean, oh, great, next week we can get everything back to normal. No, this just means we have COVID on the run. If we all of a sudden reintroduce ourselves to normal life, it could peak again. It could be a second wave. And that's what they're warning us about. So we need to stay the course right now, but at least you know you are doing well. The one thing I have heard from a lot of you, is that you're just not sleeping well. So what happens when you don't sleep well? You're tired. What happens when you're tired? You don't perform well. You feel lousy. So what happens when you go to bed? Well, you're feeling lousy, you're anxious, so you don't go to sleep. Next morning, you don't feel well because you didn't sleep well. And it goes on and on. It's a vicious cycle. It becomes a downward spiral. We've had her on before, and she has some great advice. Her name is Alanna McGinn, and she is sleep consultant of Good Night Sleep Site, founder of it as well, stress management coach, director for the International Association of Child Sleep, serves on the faculty of the Family Sleep Institute. She hosts the top-rated This Girl Loves Sleep podcast and author of This Baby Loves Sleep. Hello, Alanna. Welcome back to the show. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too, Kevin. Thank you for having me back.
How did you sleep last night, Alanna?
I slept okay. We are making sleep a priority in this house and making sure everyone's getting a good night. Yeah.
We always say you need a good sleep, but why? Why do you need a good sleep? What does it do for us?
Well, I mean, on top of putting us in better moods, better temperaments. I mean, now more than ever, we need to be giving our immune system a boost. And proper sleep, good sleep health is definitely one of the key ways of doing that. So making sure that our immune system is top notch to be able to fight anything that's coming at us, especially during this time. So sleep, things like eating right and moving and sleeping well are three pillars of health. Should really be a priority right now in each household, for sure.
And definitely it has an impact, I know for me especially, it has an impact on your mental health, your mental well-being, and your ability to cope with isolation.
Absolutely. They say that loss of sleep doesn't cause things like when we're seeing things like depression, anxiety, but it definitely can heighten any kind of symptoms that we're already feeling. So, given what we're all going through right now, I mean, it would be I couldn't say that, to not worry and to not have stress and anxiety. Of course, we're going to be feeling these things. And then on top of that, being sleep deprived and not getting a great night's sleep for multiple nights in a row is just going to kind of add to that not so great feeling that we're feeling. So sleep is definitely going to help with all of that as well. It's kind of a catch-22 though, because if we're stressed out, we're not sleeping. If we're not sleeping, we're stressed out. So where do we start?
That's the best question. Where do we start? So when you work with clients, and you work with clients all over the world, from what I understand, right?
We do. We're worldwide. That's right.
Where do you start with them usually?
So we normally get a diary. So we'll look at the past month of sleep. We'll ask questions: what's going on in their life, and what are they feeling, and are there certain events that perhaps are going on in their life that's not allowing them to sleep, or perhaps causing more stress and anxiety in their life as to why they're not sleeping. We'll definitely start looking at their sleep hygiene. So sleep hygiene are these steps and practices that an individual can take to sleep better. So for instance, are they following consistent sleep routines? Are they incorporating a relaxing bedtime? Are they setting up their sleep space for sleep success? What foods are they eating right before they go to bed or throughout the day? Are they napping throughout the day? So we'll check in and see what they're doing, and then provide a course of action through there.
Okay, and so I just want to add this camera to the mix. There was that. No, I don't want that. Hold on. Sorry, I'm having a little technical fight with myself here. I didn't get a good sleep. No, actually, I did okay. I did okay. I will tell you, the comments are going crazy here. There's all sorts of comments. What's a good snack to eat before bed? My mind races at night. How do you calm your mind? Do you have an opinion in regards to dreams, both good and bad? Folks, we are going to get to all of these questions and more, because what I've been doing today is been running some questions on Twitter and on Facebook to find out how people are getting along with sleeping. And guess what? People are just not getting good sleep out there right now. In fact, a majority of people are not getting a good sleep.
Yeah. I mean, we're seeing, for many reasons. I think one of the main reasons why we're seeing kind of a change in our sleep patterns during this time is just lack of routine. I know for the first few weeks, especially in my house too, we don't have to get up to go to work in the morning. We don't have to get our kids ready for school in the morning. We don't have to set our alarms, really, So because of that, bedtimes are getting later and later. Perhaps there's more napping happening throughout the day as well. Also, our kids, for parents, whether you have young kids or even tweens and teens that are home, that nighttime that you might get, those precious minutes, hours, however you might get, where it's just kids are finally in bed and you have the home to yourself, is even more precious now, because we are stuck in our house with everybody all day, right? So, because of that, bedtimes are getting later and later, and we're seeing fewer and fewer hours of sleep overall happening. So I think routine is a big reason why we're seeing such a shift in our sleep patterns.
Okay, we better get to some advice here. People are champing at the bit, and folks, allow me to I just want to go on my little trivia thing. It is champing the bit, not chomping at the bit. Okay. Look it up. Look it up. I just wanted to pass that on. You can mull that over in bed tonight if you want. All right, the first question that I had posed to people today was this one. I sleep well, and the comments are always 15%, sometimes 37%, rarely 48%. So an incredibly overwhelming majority are either they sleep well sometimes or rarely. I had no idea the numbers would be that high.
Yeah, listen, I think we are a sleep deprived society for sure, for numerous reasons. And I think especially during this time, it's just going to accelerate that amount of people that aren't sleeping well. So let's start with what's happening in the bedroom. I think that's a great place to start is what are you using your bedroom for? And now, because we are kind of confined to our homes, and there's more and more people in your home than perhaps you're used to if you're working from home, stuff like that, it would make sense that your bedroom would start becoming the room in which you do other things other than sleeping, meaning it's becoming now maybe perhaps your home office. It's becoming your gym, your entertainment center, your kid's playroom. So it's really important. And I know that this can be difficult logistically given the situation that we're all in, but it's really important that you try and protect bedrooms for sleep only. And that's including your children as well. So, if they have homework to do, if they want to chat with their friends, try and pick another spot in the home for them to do that, so that we're not spending so much time in our bedroom not sleeping, because essentially we should be sleeping 85% of the time that we are in bed. So if we're lying in bed, watching TV, checking our tech, working, things like that, we're not allowing us to develop that positive relationship between sleep and our bed.
Okay, so is it better then? You're saying we should be sleeping 85% of the time we're in bed. Is it better then, if we are going to be on our screens, get up and do it?
Yeah, I mean, it would be better to do that in a different location. I mean, in my opinion, tech should be out of the bedroom for sure. So that means phones, that means tablets, that means TV. I mean, if there's any room in the home where we should really be eliminating tech, it should be our bedroom. So regardless of the situation that we're in now, even moving forward, I mean, I always say choose a docking station in your home. It's something that we have in my family. We have a docking station on our kitchen counter where we all plug in our devices overnight. My daughter as well, she now has a phone too. We plug it in, everything stays charged, organized at the bedroom, and we really try and keep tech out. So, a lot of us use tech use our phones as our alarm clocks. I know that's a pushback that I always get. Well, my phone is my alarm clock. Stores still sell alarm clocks. You can go out and buy an alarm clock. If you are strong enough to just use your phone as your alarm clock, maybe set it and set your phone away from your bed. So you actually have to physically get out of bed to turn it off, and you're not kind of tempted to grab it and check email and things like that.
Okay, Pat speaks for me as well, and we all know we're guilty of this. I go to sleep around 11, wake up around 3 with anxiety. Then I look at Twitter, which I shouldn't do. So we know we shouldn't do, and finally don't fall asleep until about 6 o'clock and only for an hour.
Right.
We know we're doing wrong.
Here's the thing, it's habits, right? So we have to also cut ourselves some slack. It's not something that you're just going to turn off overnight, especially if you've been suffering from what we call chronic insomnia. So for whatever reason, you're not sleeping well. I mean, if it's tech, if it's something like checking Twitter, that's a habit that we have to break. It takes 21 days to break that habit. So, but keeping tech out of the bedroom is going to definitely help with that. But if you're an individual who's suffering from insomnia long term, maybe weeks, months, even years, I mean, there is no instant solution that's going to help you sleep better. It's little steps that you can take, and we can talk about those for sure, that's going to help you fall asleep. But it's retraining your brain of how it thinks about sleep, and retraining your body to fall back asleep in bed. And that's not an overnight there's no overnight solution for that.
Okay, folks, if I miss a question with Alanna, remind me of it later, okay? Because you guys are asking some incredibly good questions right now. I want to get to the next question, and that was, why can't you sleep? Now, these may seem like they go together, but I don't think they do it. You're anxious 20%, or your mind is racing 54%. Now, I guess you could say that anxious and mind racing could be the same thing, but I guess for me, living with depression, I know that sometimes anxious is different than my mind racing. Sometimes mind racing, I feel positive. I'm not tired, 11%, and I'm uncomfortable. So too hot, too cold, the bed isn't comfortable, only 15%. So the mind racing, the anxiousness, we're looking at about 75% of people can't turn their mind off, and that's a very, very common complaint, Alanna.
Absolutely it is. And I think now more than ever, we're seeing that too. So I can't stress this enough. We have to set boundaries. If you're someone who easily, who suffers from anxiety, who is very sensitive to the news and the information that you're absorbing, and you know that that's going to affect your mind racing or your already existing anxiety or stress, I think it is so important, you guys, to set boundaries on the amount of information that you are absorbing throughout the day and the time in which you are doing it. Choose 1 or 2 resources or 2 or 3 resources that you allow yourself to check in on maybe 5 minutes a day. I mean, that's all you need. The information, Kevin, that you gave at the top of it, that's all we need. That's all I needed to know today. I mean, thankfully it was good information, finally some positive information that we're getting, but that is all I needed to know today. I don't need to watch every press conference and read every article that comes out, because it's just going to add to it, especially right before we go to bed. Again, I'm going to be saying this so much tonight, guys, but just now more than ever, we have to do it. Again, keeping tech in the bedroom makes it easy to not absorb that. So if you are someone who suffers from anxiety, especially in the situation that we're in now, really set boundaries as far as even what are you allowing on your Twitter feed, on your Facebook feed?
Yeah.
Do you have to temporarily mute and unfollow some people? You know, we all have those friends that love to post those really awful stories.
Yeah,
and
and
I don't need to know about.
And what I've been doing since I have started this show, and people will realize it too, if someone sends me something negative, I just reply and say, I'm not taking any negative posts at this time.
Yeah.
If it continues, I block them. I don't need that in my life right now. I'm getting a lot of questions about the weighted blankets. We're going to get to your answer on that in just a moment, but I need to do a little bit of a commercial for someone, because we've been giving away some commercials to people here. So it's time for our Biz Bump for that's not it. Hold on, wait, I pushed the wrong button. There we go. Here's our Biz Bump for today. I love this one. A mother and her son, Wendy and Spencer, have started groceries.com. It's an online grocery site that streamlines the whole process. You pick from set baskets like produce, meat, dairy, snacks. This allows them to keep delivery time down to 2 days from when you order. Keep in mind, this is a mom and son operation, so right now they can only deliver to an area bounded by York Mills to the north, Lakeshore to the south, and then between Bathurst and Vic Park. This is really supporting local. It's groceries, EZE.com, groceries.com. I was talking to Wendy this afternoon, and she's very excited about that. So thank you very much, Wendy, and for Spencer as well. That's fantastic. Okay, let's get back to Alanna. We were talking to Alanna McGinn. She is a sleep expert. She is the founder and sleep consultant of goodnightsleep.com, and she knows what she's talking about. She knows what she's talking about. So we have had a lot of people asking about the weighted blankets. These are the blankets, if you don't know about them. I know Indigo Chapters sells them and things. You can get them anywhere. And some people are swearing by them that they help with anxiety. What's your take on them, Alanna?
Yeah, actually, it's a great tool that you can incorporate. You want to make sure that you're looking for, as you said, there's a lot of great places that sell them. You want to make sure that you're looking for ones where, so basically what it is it's small pellets that are in the blanket, weighted pellets that are in the blanket. And you want to make sure that it's evenly distributed so that when you shake it up, they're kind of not all falling down. So that's something that you want to pay attention to when you're buying them. You're looking for, I believe it's about 5 to 10% of your body weight. I believe most blankets are sold in either 5, 10, 15, maybe even 20-pound weighted blankets. And what it does is the pressure of the weighted blanket helps to release serotonin. So this is a chemical in our body that allows our bodies to calm down, to relax. So if you are someone that suffers from anxiety, if you have children, they have a lot of great children weighted blankets as well. It could be something that you can easily incorporate into your bedroom. I know there was just a small percent of those that are explaining that they get too hot or they get too cold. I always say customize your bed to what helps you, and including a weighted blanket can definitely help with that for sure.
I want to go back to one here. Where was it? And this is something is very common. A lot of people do this. I know people who do this. Where was that one? Was someone who said, where is it? Because I want to put it up because I can't find. I did put it up a couple of minutes ago. They were saying I have to sleep with the TV on. It helps me fall asleep, and I hear that a lot. If it helps you fall asleep, why not?
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, if something is helping you sleep better, then who am I to tell you to change it, right? So it's something like listening to the TV. I know a lot of people who listen to different sounds and different white noise and things like that. If that helps you get good restorative sleep where you're feeling like you're on average 7 to 8 hours, and throughout the day you're also feeling rested, and you're not showing a lot of excessive daytime sleepiness. Because remember, it's not just about the quantity of sleep that we're getting, it's all about the quality. It's also more important, the quality of sleep, right? So if you're getting those 7 to 8 hours and you're listening to the TV and things like that, but then throughout the day, you're waking up still feeling pretty tired, showing some excessive daytime sleepiness, still feeling pretty fatigued throughout the day, then we need to be looking at, are we getting good quality of sleep? That can happen when we do have certain sounds going on or we are falling asleep. In some ways, it almost tricks our brain into thinking that it should be awake. So even though your body's sleeping, your body might not be able to get into that deep sleep that we need to be getting into. So it's, focus on the amount of sleep you're getting, but also how you're feeling throughout the day. If you're feeling great and you're getting your 7, 8 hours, 6 hours even, I'm not going to tell you to turn off the TV. Something that can work really well for those that are suffering from, quiet or wanting to quiet the mind and suffering from anxiety. We are so fortunate nowadays. There are so many great resources. As much as I'm saying, guys, get rid of tech, there's also some great tech that can help. And things like meditation apps and audiobooks and podcasts that you can listen to. Like, there's so much great tech out there that can help quiet our mind. And, not everyone wants to learn how to meditate. So, incorporating some of these apps can help through guided meditation, guided mindful thought, guided mindful breathing. All of these tools can help us fall asleep and stay asleep as well.
So many great questions here. Oh my gosh. I could keep you here for hours, Alanna. Okay. I've had some people ask about CBD because it's now, it's available. It's in, without the stuff that makes you high.
Right.
What's your thought on that?
So I'm going to be completely honest and transparent. I haven't done enough research on that to be able to say, yes, I think it's a great idea. I would prefer somebody to try something like a CBD for sleep over, using chronic sleep or using sleep medication over and over and over again. So I do think that there are benefits to that. I do think that there needs to be a bit more studies done on the relationship between CBDs and sleep. And that's what I'm currently doing more research on. So I'm not in a position yet to say this is the kind you should use and this is the brand you should go with. But I do think that there is some positive work that has been done. And I know for many people who are using it, it's worked wonders. So it's definitely a conversation to have with your doctor.
Yeah, and
if you are thinking of taking that route.
Definitely. And that whenever you take something, you should really have a conversation with your doctor or
Absolutely.
At the very least a pharmacist.
Absolutely.
So, all right, I want to get to another question that we had asked today. And this one is, we know what we do wrong, right? So what are you guilty of at bedtime? The majority, 59%, screen time. Eating before bed, up late, 22%. And I had a nap that was way too long earlier, 10%. So we need to take each one of these in order right now.
Yeah.
Let's start with screen time. Well, no, we've already talked about screen time enough.
Yeah.
Give me one quick thing about screen time.
Just get it out. Get it out of the bedroom. Yeah. Absolutely. Just get it out of the, choose a spot in your house, dock it, and get it out of the bedroom. It's really that easy, to be honest. Hard and easy at the same time, right?
Eating. I am here. I keep hearing, yes, it's okay. No, it's not. Yes, it's okay. What about eating? How long before? What should you be eating when?
Right. Okay. So I do think that part of the reason why in the situation that we're in, we're struggling with sleep also, I think it's because people's eating patterns are also changing a lot. And I cannot be alone when I say this. There's much more food being consumed in quarantine. I think that's fair to say.
Yes.
For everyone, please tell me that I'm not alone in this.
Yeah.
So we have to be mindful of that. And what happens is when you're eating really large meals right before we go to bed, when we go to sleep, we want our bodies solely focusing on sleep and getting that really good quality of sleep. So when we are eating really big meals right before we go to bed, our body is too busy digesting. Our body can really work on a few things at a time. So if our body is too busy digesting that big meal that we just had, it's not able to get that good quality of sleep. So there are certain bedtime snacks that you can incorporate if you are a little hungry before you go to bed. Things like, it's easy, really. Just think natural whole grain foods, no processed foods, obviously no caffeine, no spicy foods right before you go to bed. And try to avoid any big meals at least 4 hours before you go to sleep. So your body has time to digest and then focus on good, healthy sleep.
And I'm going to bring this up now because for some reason, all of a sudden, there's a whole different conversation going on with the comments here sometimes. There's two different shows going on, which I think is great. The melatonin. We know that it is beneficial. It is useful. I've heard don't take it for too long a period of time. What do you need to know about melatonin?
So I think the most important thing we need to know about melatonin is it's very rare for individuals to be deficient in melatonin. So it's I'll be honest, it's not a supplement that I normally recommend unless you are somebody who perhaps suffers from something like circadian rhythm disorder, or travels a lot and is suffering from jet lag and going through different time zones. Also can help kind of combat maybe some medications that you might be taking. Again, these are conversations to have with your doctor. But for the average individual, I think it's kind of been coined as a sleep aid, and people think of it as a sleeping pill, and it's not. It's not something that you take and instantly you get drowsy from that. That it helps control our circadian rhythms and helps resync our body clock. So the best way to release our natural melatonin, which we all have, it's a natural hormone that we all have, is by using the external factors around, and that is the light and the dark of the day. So when darkness comes, that's when our melatonin is released. So in the morning, we want to suppress it. We want to get out in that natural sunlight, get out in that fresh air. That's going to help suppress the melatonin. At night, we want to keep things quiet and dark. Again, going back to the screens, when we're in front of those bright screens, the melatonin stays suppressed, and then we're just taking in the synthetic supplements, right? So you're looking to kind of boost your melatonin to help you sleep. Get in the dark, turn down those lights, get into low stimulations, and then that can help. And it's a really quick test to see if you are deficient. It's a blood test, a saliva test, but it's very rare to be deficient. If you're looking for a supplement to take, I like to talk a lot about the other M, which is magnesium. This is a great supplement that you can incorporate in your day-to-day daily vitamins. And this, again, helps kind of not only boost your immune system, but also provide calming and relaxing as well.
Okay. I want to get back to that same chart. Let me bring it back up again. Let me just roll it here. Screen time. There were two things that I wanted to talk about because I think they're very important. All right. I'm up late and the napping. So bedtime. How important is bedtime, and when should bedtime be?
So bedtime is really, it depends on the individual. I always base bedtime on your wake time. So on an average normal day, we all have to, our wake time is dictated by our life. We all have to get up to go to work for some reason for a certain time, or to get our kids ready to school for a certain time. If we're looking to get those 7 to 8 hours, you want to base your bedtime 7 to 8 hours from that wake time, right? And that really should be that bedtime that you're trying to hit as best you can. If you are somebody who is having a really hard time falling asleep at bedtime, and I'm talking about chronic insomnia as an individual who's been suffering from falling asleep at night, or throughout the, falling back asleep throughout the night consistently and for a long period of time, you might want to avoid daytime napping, because that's stealing those hours of sleep that we really want to be logging in at night. If you are somebody who can fall asleep relatively well, who doesn't really have a huge sleep issue and wants to take the occasional nap, then that's okay. But if you're someone that suffers from a lot of sleep loss at night, you want to avoid napping throughout the day. Okay,
it's just going to get noisy here for a second because our friends from 799 are just landing at Sick Kids Hospital across the street. Problem. So just give me 1 second because it gets very, very loud. Which way are they coming in from, Parker? East or west today? Okay, here we go, Parker. Well, you know what? Let's show you. Let's show you. Hold on. Just waiting for the camera to come up. Can you hear it in the background?
Yeah.
Okay. There we go. Oops, lost it. There we go. Oh, hold on. It's just connecting. Hold on. Give me 1 second. There we go. All right. Yeah, so it's always a great chance to show our emergency workers out there saving lives. I'll tell you, Alanna, when that thing comes by at 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm up. But you know what? It's for a good reason. So I want to say hello to all my friends out on the island who work with Orange. Great job for those folks. Okay, let's get to our next question. Okay, now we want to know. I want to start talking about dreams right now. How are your dreams? Are they pleasant? Only 12% said they are. Bad or scary, 25%. Don't remember their dreams, 35%. I want to ask you about that. And I find my dreams very busy, 28%. You know, a lot of people were complaining earlier that that they wake up and they feel like they've run a marathon. So let's take them one at a time. I have pleasant dreams. Not very many people do. What does that say about us and our sleep?
So I think now more than ever, I'm finding that, because this is a question I'm getting asked a lot, people are dreaming more and more, and vivid dreams. Like, it's sometimes, you're dreaming and you wake up and you don't remember them for the most part, right? But now more and more people are like, I wake up and I can, write a book about my dream. They're quite vivid, and some are pleasant, some are not so pleasant. I think that has a big part of what's going on in the world today. The amount of, when you're having a lot of dreams and you're having very vivid dreams, there's normally a lot of stress that's going on in your life. Normally a lot of sleep deprivation that's going on in your life. So this is the world in which we live in right now for obvious reasons. So again, it's coming back to focusing on proper sleep hygiene. So making sure that we're having those consistent sleep patterns, that we're trying to really prioritize our sleep. I know I mentioned that in the beginning. My family is really trying to prioritize our sleep. Sleeping doesn't necessarily come easy to all of us. So it's something that we have to kind of work for and really put in the time and the effort to do well. So really focusing on our sleep health, and then reducing our stress as much as we can. So whether that just be watching the amount of news and information that we're absorbing day to day, focusing on more mindful activities and more relaxation techniques before we go to bed, can definitely help. But chances are, once everything kind of dies down and life goes back to whatever normal is, when it goes back, the dreaming will calm down a little bit.
Okay, don't worry, folks. I'm going to ask all these questions because I'm going to bring that chart right back up again. Let me run it again. Okay. Oh, sorry, no, that's a deaf one. I want to go back to this one. Here we go. So pleasant. We talked about pleasant. Scary dreams. Now, they don't necessarily have to be a nightmare. They're just they're scary. We feel extremely conflicted or in danger. Sometimes even that death is threatened in this as well. Is there anything we can do to sort of ward off that kind of dream before we go to sleep? How do we do that?
I think the best way to do that is, it's always like your subconscious, right? It's like what happened throughout the day or what is going on in your world to kind of allow your dream to morph into something like that. So again, it comes back to what are you allowing your mind and your brain to absorb throughout the day that's possibly allowing that dream to be created in terms of whether it be something like you're feeling that you're being, whether it be under attack or death or anything like that. So what are you doing throughout the day? And then also, how can you reshape what you're thinking right before you're going to sleep? I don't know if we spoke about this before, changing the story, right? So we do it actually a lot when we're working with children, but adults can do it as well. So instead of going to bed with your mind racing of all the bad that's going on in the world, think of pleasant things, right? Where do you want to take your next vacation? What do you want to do? How do you want to, for all of those, I always feel so bad for all those COVID birthdays because, birthdays suck now because we're stuck at home and you can't celebrate. So what do you want to do for your next birthday? Or if you have a pet, what is the funny thing you think your pet does? This is one that the kids really like. What is the funny thing you think your pet does when no one's at home? So try and think of more pleasant things before we go to bed. But again, that's something that we have to work towards and do.
I am talking with Alanna McGinn. She is a sleep expert. She is also the founder of the Good Night Sleep site. So it's goodnightsleepsite.com. There's some great advice there. She has a podcast as well. I'll tell you more at the end of the show how you can find that. Okay, let's move on. I want to go again. I pushed the wrong button again, Alanna. Hold on. Okay, so we talked about pleasant. We talked about bad, scary. This is another category that actually surprised me. I don't remember about my dreams, and I've had a few comments about not remembering dreams now, but they did before. If you don't remember your dreams when you get up, what's that an indication of?
It could just be that it's not to say that you're necessarily dreaming every night. So it could just be that you didn't dream. And it could just be that normally when we're not actually remembering our dreams and they're not so vivid when we wake up, it's normally meaning that we're getting a pretty restful night of sleep. So I don't think it's anything to worry about. I think more people are more prone to remember their dreams than others. So if you're an individual that's like, I never really remember my dream, you just might be that individual that just doesn't, and that's okay.
All right. Now the last one on that list about how are your dreams. So we did just. I got to bring it back up. I have a horrible memory. Maybe I need better sleep. Is the dreams are very busy, and yes, you're out of breath by the time you wake up.
Right. So that's telling me that you're not getting into that deep restorative sleep that we want to be getting into. So again, it comes back to what are you doing right before you're going to bed? Are you practicing good sleep hygiene? Are you able to get into that deep restorative sleep? And why aren't you? So normally it brings it back to, okay, so what's happening at bedtime? Are we being in front of those screens? Are we not having a proper bedtime routine that's allowing our body to relax before it goes to bed? Are we not having consistent sleep patterns? A lot of it has to do with the amount of information that we're probably absorbing throughout the day that can make our dreams even busier because our brain is just kind of on overload with all the information that we're absorbing. So again, setting those boundaries, I think, can really help with that for sure.
Okay. The next one we are going to talk about is what do your dreams do? Do they wake you up? What is the reaction of them? And we'll do that right after this message. I always like saying that. So back to the Biz Bump for today. Wendy and Spencer, mom and son, they have started up this business. It's called mygroceries.com, featured in Blog TO. They're an online grocery site. They streamline the whole process. You pick from set baskets, like baskets of produce, meats, snacks. And that allows them to streamline their delivery and keep delivery down to 2 days from when you order. Now, keep in mind, folks, they're a mom and son. And so they're starting out small. They can only deliver in the inner part of Toronto, so York Mills to the north, the Lakeshore to the south, between Bathurst and Victoria Park. That's a start. Maybe if you help them out, maybe they'll expand to the entire GTA. So give them a try. Groceries, EZE.com, and that's a great site to have started. Alanna McGinn, sleep expert, is here to put you to sleep. That's usually what I do when I'm on the air, but okay, Alanna is gonna do it for us today. Let's get to that last question, and that was, do your dreams wake you? 43% are woken up by dreams. Go on and on and on, 36%, and or unremarkable, 21%. So it looks as though, again, the majority here, dreams definitely have an impact on someone the following morning. So if a dream wakes you, a couple of questions: why, and what should you do about it? Go back to sleep?
Well, it depends what you're dreaming about. Sometimes you want to go right back into that dream, right? But when you don't want that to happen, it depends on where you're at in the night. But I mean, ideally, yeah, you would like to go back to sleep so that you're getting in those 7 to 8 hours. I think it depends on what an individual dreams, in terms of if they're being woken up and roused from that dream. Also, what's going on in the environment around them. Is there something that's maybe pulling them into that later state, like noises, sounds, the environment in which they're sleeping in, that's kind of rousing them out of that sleep? But ideally, regardless of what we're dreaming and how we're being woken up, we want to have the ability to fall back asleep so that we're getting in those hours that we need to be sleeping throughout the night.
Okay, Alanna, just as we wrap up here, we are now, we're getting to bedtime. First of all, it's the kids, then it's us. Sometimes it goes the other way around. So what should we be doing now? What time is it? It is 7:39. What should we be doing now? Should we stop eating? Should we stop watching TV? Should we get away from the show? What should we be doing now?
So now I think is a great idea to do something that allows your brain, your body, your soul to relax. And whatever that might be, whether that be hanging out with the family, hanging out with the kids. I mean, it's almost 8 o'clock. You don't necessarily need to be turning down your tech yet. I'll give yourself a tech curfew of at least 60 minutes, 90 minutes if you can do it, but at least an hour before you're going to bed. So depending on when you're going to bed, you don't have to maybe power down quite yet. But now is the time where I would avoid any heavy meals. I would avoid any more drinks. I think that's kind of, we're consuming probably a little bit more alcohol than usual during the quarantine. So let's eliminate, or let's at least stop that for the night. And what you're absorbing. So now's the time to maybe turn off the news and stop reading the articles and stay away from Twitter and all of those things. And try and do nice, calming and relaxing activities with those you love, or with yourself, with however is going to help you kind of calm down and relax to prepare for sleep, I think is a good one. Okay.
Well, I think Marie has the best idea, taking a bubble bath and putting on the PJs.
Absolutely. Absolutely. One thing I did want to just touch on if we have time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We have all the time in the world.
I noticed somebody on your Twitter had asked about triggers. And how they were saying that now, given, with what had happened before with 9/11, there were certain triggers that would cause people more anxiety and stress. And now, with what we're going through now, like sometimes just I think he was saying even just the opening sound of a news station.
Yes, okay, now you remind me. And I definitely wanted to talk to you about this because I told that person I would. So they were saying that one of the news stations they were watching, they have their regular music stinger intro, and when they hear that song they instantly start to get triggered into anxiety, and then they play that song back in their mind when they go to bed.
Right. Yeah. So this is actually something very similar to PTSD. So traumatic stress disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder. So, if there's a traumatic event that an individual has had in their life, and it could be an event just like with what we're going through now, even though maybe you don't have anyone who has been touched by COVID or have had any losses in your life from COVID, just the experience and the anxiety and the stress of it in general could be enough of a traumatic event where certain things that happen, like listening to a news station or hearing certain sounds or reading certain things, can kind of trigger that feeling of anxiety and stress. So a great treatment that I want to briefly talk about, because I'm not a therapist, so it's not something that I can practice, but I would love to refer people out to see a sleep specialist or sleep therapist, is called cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia. And these are different, there's different techniques that an individual can learn. And basically what it does is, like I was saying before, it helps to retrain their body and their mind to sleep better. So things like what I was talking about, sleep hygiene, but also sleep restriction, where an individual is perhaps not able to fall asleep at bedtime. So maybe they are having to, we're restricting their sleep in times of when they're going to bed. So we're pushing their bedtime out to say midnight for a few weeks, and then slowly increasing their bedtime to help them fall asleep better earlier. Or stimulus control. So if you're having trouble sleeping, getting out of the bedroom and doing a quiet activity and then getting back into bed and trying again. So there's different techniques, but if you are an individual who perhaps is suffering from any kind of PTSD for whatever reason, and it's starting to interfere with your sleep and you're suffering from chronic insomnia, I really do advise you to reach out to your doctor, who can refer you perhaps to a sleep therapist. Who can start a cognitive behavioral, so CBTI, cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia. And that could be a great therapy treatment for somebody who's suffering from chronic insomnia.
Okay. Let's have you back. Let's talk about that a little bit more at length. I find that fascinating. Let's also talk about snoring next time.
Yes. Sleep apnea.
Yes,
sure.
Let's talk about that coming up next time. I mean, for instance, what happens if you have someone who suffers from sleep apnea, who has the CPAP machine but refuses to use it, said the guy holding up his hand. So
you need to use it.
I know I do.
Don't make me come over there.
Oh, it's so okay. We will talk about this. Okay, will you come back next week?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, great.
Sure.
This has been absolutely fantastic. Alanna, let's remind people about your stuff. shall we?
Yeah.
Alanna is the founder and sleep consultant of Goodnight Sleep Site. Go to goodnightsleepsite.com. She is the stress management coach, director for the International Association of Child Sleep, serves on the faculty of the Family Sleep Institute. She also hosts This Girl Loves Sleep, the podcast. When's that? How often do you refresh those?
That is every Tuesday.
Okay.
Every Tuesday. Yeah, and that you download podcasts.
And tell me about This Baby Loves Sleep, available on Amazon Kindle.
So yeah, This Baby Loves Sleep actually is our baby sleep book. It's for 4 to 12 months of age, and actually right now it's an ebook. So we are giving away the ebook to all essential workers and healthcare workers. We've given away so far over 400 books. So all you have to do is email us at info@goodnightsleepsite.com. Let us know what you're doing. So again, for all essential workers, all healthcare workers, because sleep is so important for you guys. You guys are our heroes, and we need you guys getting some healthy sleep. So if you have a baby, if you are a young family, and you are an essential worker or healthcare worker, send us an email. Let us know what you do, and we'll send you off a book for free.
All right, and you have a contact. And Alanna, by the way, is very good at getting back to you on email. I know that for certain, so go to goodnightsleepsite.com. And there's some great information there as well. Alanna, thank you so much. Always wonderful talking with you.
Thanks so much, Kevin.
All right. Alanna McGinn talking to us this morning. I'll never get past that, will I? I will never get past that, will I? Alanna McGinn talking to us this evening about getting a good sleep. I hope you are now starting to set your mind towards that. One of the problems, though, right, and you know this, one of the problems is that you start working yourself up. You start saying, I'm not going to get a good sleep. So, as she had said, time to change the story. Convince yourself, just say, listen, you know what? I'm going to try tonight to do it right. I'm going to try and relax and calm my mind. Meditation is fantastic, and it's not that difficult. In fact, coming up later on this week, I am going to be talking once again to Patricia Rockman. She's going to bring us through Meditation 101. She's going to bring us through a 3-minute meditation. Come on, you can do that. Don't forget, Friday is our big show celebrating and supporting the front line. So we're going to be talking about our workers, our heroes, our nurses, our doctors, our healthcare workers. We are going to be talking about police and firefighters. We're also going to be talking about PTSD. We're also going to be talking about where they can get support. So if you are a frontline worker, right now it's difficult to get peer-to-peer support. So we're going to talk about that. And as well, an added bonus. I was thinking about this as I was watching the comments. Lori Lamson, who is a regular viewer, says she's celebrating her birthday tomorrow and she's not looking forward to it. So, tomorrow, right here on this program, it is going to be a birthday party for Lori Lamson. I want you to get ready to celebrate. We are having a birthday right here on this show tomorrow night at 7 o'clock for Lori. Shh. Don't tell her. I think it's going to be a surprise party. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you got something out of tonight's program. I know I sure did. So until we meet tomorrow, take care of yourself and take care of each other.
COVID-19, why you do this to me? I really don't like being stuck in quarantine. I have no toilet paper, I don't even have a snack.